Welcome to another video from DIY Daily. Just put a full step-by-step guide together, just showing you how to replace the aircon pump on this 2016 Ford Ranger. Now before we get into the video, I'll just show you this is the pump that we're fitting. We've got a new aftermarket pump. The genuine Ford pumps are about nearly £700 plus VAT at the minute, so this was a lot cheaper. But I'll put a link in the description below, or you can click the link above to a new compressor if you want to check it out and get one. All the tools as well that I'm going to be using and the aircon machine, I'll put links to them in the description as well. But yeah, it's fairly basic to replace. We've got two fittings for the pipes there, and we've got three main bolt holes, and then there's just a bracket just there as well, which I think a pipe will be just screwed into that, that's all. The only thing you will have to do, obviously this has got some gas in it at the minute, so we've got a Texas air conditioning machine, just so we can suck the gas out to start with before we start any work on it. And then once we've got the gas out, we can get the pump off, swap everything over, and then regas it at the end. Just so you can just see the pump, just put the torch on quickly. The pump's just located just down the bottom there. So obviously access from the top's quite a little bit tight. We're doing most of this from up in the air. We are using a two-poster ramp. It does make the job a little bit easier, but it's not too bad to do on the floor. If you want to jack it up quite high, put some axle stands under it, just give you a bit of access, that's all. The only thing that I've done at the minute is just take this under tray off, but just the front section of the tray just has four 15-16mm bolts on there, so come on what they were. 15mm, yeah. But just to start with, I'll just speed through and just skip this process where I just hook the machine up and just suck the gas out of it. But just to show you the two ports, there's one port there just at the front there, and another one just at the back, just there. You should see they'll just have the caps on originally there, so I just took them off. Now the issue that I was having with this pump, the aircon has actually been working, but it did just make a bit of a noise, and then you could smell like a burning smell, and it started to smoke from the pump. And when the pump's in drive, it's the pumps must be sort of partially seized. When it's in drive, it starts to get red hot. Luckily I caught it before it was a problem and sort of damaged the pump or sheared the pulley off or anything like that. But as soon as it's not engaged, it's freewheeling okay. So I've been able to keep driving it for a few days with the pump still faulty. So, but just start with, I'll get that gas sucked out of it, we'll get it up in the air and start running you through everything a step at a time. Just before getting it fully up in there, just sort of got it about halfway up at the minute, but the aircon pump's just sort of situated behind this little flap in the wheel arch. So all I'm going to do is just undo two of these screws just so I can drop this flap down just out of the way. It's basically got these little plastic rivets. They just have like a Phillips head centre in them, so you can unscrew the Phillips bit out of them. Sometimes you'll wind it and it don't come out, but you can just use like a little flat bladed screwdriver, just pick the centre out, and then you can pick the rest of the clip out after that. So, but we'll just get two of them out for now, just drop that flap down. So now that the flap's out of the way, you can see the aircon pump there. I'm not going to attempt to undo anything just yet. I'm just going to send it up in the air the rest of the way. Just show you from underneath, just show you how to get the belt off. And once the belt's off, we'll try and get in. Can't quite see it very well with these connectors here, but this is where we'll access the two fittings for the pipes. You can just see one just at the back over there. You just need to undo the nut and then you should be able to work that out. And there's one literally just behind this fitting there as well. So, but just for now, we'll get the belt off and then show you the bits after that. So just coming up from under the front, the guard that I took off was just sort of sits from this section there, just coming forward. So it's just got the 4 bolts holding it on. It's really easy to get off. And once you've got it off, you can see the aircon pump up there. Now what we're going to need to do to get the belt off, it's quite a large belt on there, but we're not going to fully take the belt off. I'm just going to take it away from the aircon pump and just tuck it out of the way, that's all. But basically up here, we've got the tensioner, which is just there. I'll just put that in there. That's basically what we're going to use to take the tension off the belt. But we'll just put the camera up there, basically just in the middle, just above that pulley. There's a little square drive. Just see if we can show you. You can just see that square drive, that hole there. That's basically where you need to use a 1/2 inch extension. Roughly about that length works sort of quite ideal. You can just tuck that in, put that into place. Let's try to slot that in. And then you can use your ratchet or a bar, put that in there, and then we'll just turn it to take the tension off. Where we hold it sort of quite tight, and you'll see the belt go slack, then you can pull the belt off. So I can't quite remember which way it is to detension it, but I'll just, once I've done it, I'll just put the camera on there and I'll just show you and let you know, and then we'll just get the belt off quick. So just put the bar on there, and you want to turn it in the clockwise direction. You just watch, if you turn that clockwise, well, that's on, the belt goes slack there. So all I can do is just hold that there, and I'll release the belt from the aircon pump. Right, so just strap the bar just up there, just to hold the tension on. It's just I don't want the belt to disturb the belt too much. Just try and leave it as still as you can. It just leaves it around all the other pulleys and just makes it a little bit easier when you're refitting it. Obviously when you're refitting it, you need to make sure that it's located on all the ribs correctly. So, but as for now, the belt's off the pump. I'm just going to drop it down a little bit just so we can access from that sort of side angle again to get all the bolts, and see if we can get it off. So I've just pulled them clips out of the way just for the wires. I probably wouldn't usually, but just thought I'd just move them out of the way for the video, just so you can sort of see a little bit clearer, that's all. But you can see the first bolt on there. I'm just going to need 13mm socket to get them off, just a nut, sorry it is. Just to undo that nut on the front one there, and obviously the rear one's just a bit further back there as well. So to start with, I'm just going to undo both of them and just pull the pipes off the pump. And we've basically got 3 bolts for the compressor. You can see one just down there. There's another one at the top there, and there's one more. You can access it reasonably easy, but just at the bottom, just down there as well. So I'm just going to get all that out now, and we'll see if we can pull the pump out. We normally get it out through, just pull through this way there. So we'll just try and get all that done now, and just run you onto the step after that. So we've got the 2 main pipes out now, just going to sit them aside. You can see they have got seals on them. Now it is really nice to change the seals while you've got it off, but sometimes they do come with a compressor, but I just had a look and none have actually come with this one tonight, so I'm going to have to reuse the seals. But if you are replacing it, it's probably going to be ideal to look and just order some before you take it off if you're replacing yours. So, but now that they're out of the way, I'm just going to undo them 3 13mm as well. So. So I'm just about to undo the last bolt now. The only thing I haven't done is just the connector. It's just tucked right at the back there, and it is just a little push tab that you need to push in to get it off. It's just a little bit tight and fiddly to get on, so I'm just going to be careful as I release the pump. Just pull it away, just see if I can just hold it enough to just release the connector off there. So that's the pump out. A little bit of a tight squeeze, but it's not too bad once you sort of get it in the right angles. It comes out all right. Did just have to just tweak this bracket just slightly back, that's all. But just at the back there, you can just see that's the connector for the aircon pump there. Just the loom's a little bit tight. So once you've got it down, you just need to just flick it up. There's just a little tab at the back there. You should press that down, and then you can just pull the connector off. If you're really struggling to get it out, pressing the tab, you can sort of just hook a little, like a pick under that piece. Just flick that locking tab up, and then you might be able to push it off when it's in situ, that's all. You see, I've got the old pump there. Now on the other one, this little bracket there that I thought a pipe might be fixed to, it's actually just the locator for the connector, that's all. It just simply pushes into it. So with the old pump, you can tell actually now that it's off, when spinning it, it does actually sound quite rough, so I couldn't really tell when it was on. But yeah, definitely knackered that one. So what we're going to do now is just have a quick look at your seals, just on your pipes there. So they're tucked out the way a bit now. You always want to just have a quick look at them, just inspect them, just make sure that they're okay. If they're make sure they're not split or anything. As I said, it'd be nice to reuse them really, but I haven't got any, so I'm going to have to refit these ones like that. So just put that back up into place. And on the new pump, you can just see I'll pop that into place now, but that's the locating bracket there just for that connector. So but all we're going to do now, the pumps always come sealed. They should be sort of stored under vacuum with these little sealing caps on there. So we're just going to undo them. They've just put some of these little plates on just for packing that, so we just undo the 230mm nuts so we can get them out, and basically just going to put it all back together exactly the same way we took it out. The two nuts on here, they don't need to be too tight, just run them down, a light nip on them really. Same with the bolts on the side there, the main mounting bolts. They do want a reasonable nip, but they don't need to be silly tight. They are still quite small threads on them. So, but yeah, we'll just get everything fitted back together now. Just run you through gassing it up, and then just quickly operating it once we've done it to make sure it's all working okay. So we'll just fly through putting it all back together. Now your aircon should have a little bit of oil in it from storage, but you do need to make sure you put oil in them. Our aircon machine puts oil in it when you regas it, so if you're doing it a different way and you've just putting a gas in it without any oil, you do need to make sure you put the right amount of oil in it as well. But I'll put any specs or anything like that I can find for the quantities in the description below. Just for refitting, I've actually removed that little bracket. The only reason I didn't attempt it in the first place is just, you can do it without, but I've had quite a few issues with these bolts snapping on there. So we'll give it a little try. If it does come out, obviously it does make the job a little bit easier. But if you think it's going to snap, I'd probably try and do it without taking it out. Right, so the aircon pump's all back together now. We've got the 3 main bolts all in and nipped up. we've got the pipe fittings on and nipped up, the connectors back on. The only thing I just put this bracket on there. I didn't show you, but I did just put a little bit of grease on the bolt head as well. So I've had problems with them snapping off in the past. So if it does come out, it's a little bit, just makes it a little bit easier to get the compressor out, that's all. I'm not going to put the flap up just yet. I'm just going to send it up in the air, just get the auxiliary belt routed round, just make sure it's on all the pulleys. It's just in case if it's a little bit awkward to get on any with this off, it might just allow me a little bit of access to tuck it on at the top if I need to. So I'll just get that belt routed round now and back on. So we've got the belt routed round now, so we can just take the tension off the belt and just have a good look round, just make sure it's in the centre of all the pulleys, just in between the ribs. It's just if you're not careful and you had it just riding over the edge of one, when you do strike it up, the belt might just ride off to the outside, or even worse, to the inside, and it'll just get all tangled underneath some of the pulleys, that's all. So but now that's on, next thing I'm going to do is just drop it back down. I'm just going to gas it up first, just hook the machine up to it. As I said, I'll just put that little cover on that side. But when you're ready to strike it up, you should really just have a quick check, just have a good look at the belt and just make sure it's running true. So, but I'll just get it dropped down now, we'll gas it up, strike it up and show you the belt, make sure it's running okay. Alright, so just have a quick look at your belt from the top as well. It's a bit tricky to see through, but you can see the power steering pump there, the alternator, and just down there it's the tensioner as well. Now I'm just going to hook the aircon machine up, just gas it up first. Our auto data is showing that the capacity for this one, 2013 on, should be 565 grams, plus or minus 25. So I'm just going to put bang on the 565 in. And it does list an amount for the oil to put in as well. But if you check the description below, I'll just list the description as it shows on auto data. So, but we'll just get it gassed up. I say I'll hook it up quick, but then I'll just skip through the process because this is a fully automated machine and it does take about 30 minutes to do it. So we'll just hook all that up, skip it through it, and then just strike it up and just test it at the end quick. Obviously at this stage now as well, if you didn't have the aircon machine, you weren't gassing it up yourself and you were fitting it and you're taking it to the garage, obviously you can just strike it up now, but you don't really want to be running the aircon until you've had it gassed up and the right amount of oil put in it. So. Right, so just skip through that step, so gassed up. Just put everything back together, just put the two caps back on. Next thing now, just ready to strike it up. I'll just strike it up quick, just show you, just having a quick look at the belt, just making sure it's okay. But that's the basic aircon pump replacement done. Hope you all liked the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a quick thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's just strike it up now, just make sure the belt's all right. Obviously, if the belt's okay, next step after that is just to switch the aircon on, just make sure it sounds okay. Turn it on and off, make sure you can hear the compressor kicking in and out, and obviously just make sure it gets it's working, it gets it down to temperature, that's all. Right, so the belt's on now, it's all running spot on. Next thing all I'm going to do is just turn the aircon on, climb it on there, switch the aircon on, obviously set the temperature down to the minimum. Just going to set it on the centre blow just so I can feel it, and I can feel already it's really nice and cold, so it's down to temperature, so the aircon's definitely working. Yeah, I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a quick thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.